talk to you about today is you're gripping your pistol. So primarily I'm going to focus on two-handed shooting. One-handed shooting grip I don't think is super complicated. Go over that real quick. So when you're picking up your pistol, you always want to try and grip it the same way as much as possible. That way you get consistency, and then you get training as far as memorization goes, and the less likely you'll have to be to think about how to pick up your pistol one-handed, should you only need to use it one-handed. Start with this high up in the back strap, as high as you can get your hand in the back strap right here. You should see no daylight if you can, right? Depends on the size of the gun, size of your hands, things like that. Touching the trigger guard right here, right? And then your thumb right here can do a number of different things depending on what's going to happen next. Shooting, you might just close your grip like that. If you're going to receive your second hand, you might open it up depending on your style of shooting. I'm going to go over the two-handed part, which is I use the thumb's forward grip. I just think it's much more conducive to controlling the pistol than my traditional grip I learned in the NRA class years ago, and then in the military and stuff like that, where you close your thumb and you put your hand over like this. So thumbs forward requires this. First, I lift my shooting hand thumb up like that. I'm going to open up this gap right here. See that? So I have all this space open. And the idea is that I want to cover all that space right there. Okay? I want as much of the palm of my hand and going up through my thumb on there as I can get on there, because more skin on the gun generally equates to more friction. More friction equates to more control. So more control means I can generally put more rounds down range in a set time frame, right? Which is sometimes what we're looking for. Depends on the situation. So I take my hand, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand. So this is my normal straight hand wrist, and this is the way I learned to shoot, like that, right? I'm going to torque my hand forward. I've learned this from several different instructors. It's there's the reasoning is when I torque my hand forward like this, I put this thumb forward, I'm creating a straight line right here. That straight line creates power, more power than a bent wrist like that. It equates that this line is less likely to bend under recoil. This is more likely to bend, do this. This is less likely to bend under recoil. My understanding of this is there's a series of plates right here in the wrist, okay, right through here. And when I torque this forward, what happens is I'm locking those plates in place via tendons, muscles, things like that. And when I put the pistol in my hand and I start shooting, right, and I have that thumbs forward grip, it's much harder for the gun to do that. So with my old grip, it was easier for the gun to do that, and I would try to control this. When I lock my wrist forward, when I take up that space right there and I lock the wrist forward, then it's much harder, and the gun just recoils up and down, almost kind of like a shock absorber like this, and it comes back to center. The other aspect of this is where I'm going to place my hand on the firearm, front to back. So I've seen a few students, and they'll do this. They'll just grip it, but you see how the palm of my hand right here is on this piece of the palm of my hand right here. That's not what I want. I want the palm of my hand touching the grip right here. So I sink it in there and wrap. Now there's a couple, once you know where you want it, a real good way to do this that I learned from Travis Haley is called pinning and almost milking, like wringing out a towel or something. I pin my fingers and I wrap my hands in. So when my hands meet up, my fingers pin on this side, and then I'm wrapping into the gun. It's hard to see, but I'm kind of bringing my hands in like that, creating friction, creating pressure here and here on the firearm, and pinning these fingers in right here helps create more pressure, and then getting really good control over the pistol, allowing me to then keep better control of the pistol under recoil. So that's my take on grip. This amalgamation of stuff I learned from several different instructors, stuff I've learned on my own. I feel like it works really well. Hand up nice and high, your dominant hand up nice and high on the pistol, lift the thumb, torque the wrist forward as it meets up, pin the fingers, and milk, or like you're kind of wringing out a towel into that grip like that. And then that equates to more control here like this. I have a lot of good control because most of your control comes from your hands and your arms, and you know, your legs are kind of, and torso are a little bit, can be irrelevant in that because you don't always have a great stance, right? So the more control you have here, down through here, this area, the less you have to worry about your lower mass being proper and in perfect stance, because you can't always shoot in a perfect stance. You might be shooting from behind a car, or we're kneeling, or we might be shooting on the move, or behind a planter in a mall, or who knows, you know, so, or behind your bed if you're barricaded in your bedroom or something. So that's my take on it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Questions down the bottom are just fine. Comments, leave them. Have a good time with it. Feel free to discuss amongst yourself as well. I'll chime in when I see questions pop up as well. Check me out on all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pageforperformanceshooting.com. You know, let everybody know what you think. Sharing likes are huge. Okay. Thank y'all. Stay safe.